Hello friends, in today's video we're going to be discussing some really exciting news regarding one of the best IDEs that you can use to develop .NET applications, Rider. On October 24, this announcement has been made. WebStorm and Rider are now free for non-commercial use, which is a really big thing. Because Rider, which I would say is one of the best IDEs that currently exist for developing any types of .NET application. Whether you are building a web API, a console application, serverless application, whatever it is, Rider is there. And Rider has a lot of different utilizations, has a lot of different plugins that makes it one of the best IDEs that you can ever use. So what's happening? So earlier this year, they have said that they have reviewed the licensing model, and now Rider and WebStorms are now free for learning, open source project, content creation, and hobby development. And this is really important, hobby development. So if you're working on your own personal project, or basically you're doing some kind of any types of development on the side, which doesn't belong to a business, which means that you can actually use Rider. And this means that you don't have to pay for a license. All you have to do is download it and start using it. And this is specifically true if you're on a Mac. So, and the main reason I wanted to make this video. So currently, if you go to the .NET tools and editors and you see all of the different offerings that Microsoft provide to tell you that if you want to use .NET, what you need to use, as you can see, you have the king, which is Visual Studio, which is only on Windows. It started to make a way on Mac, but for some reason they decided to pull the plug on it, and we were stuck by using Visual Studio Code on a Mac. And if you have ever opened Visual Studio, you know how terrible the experience is. It's one of the worst experiences for developing .NET on a Mac. Visual Studio Code is not fit for purpose. It's not an IDE, but it's not a good code editor for .NET, to be honest, if you want to try to build actual applications. If you're trying to create simple projects like a hello world, it's fine. Anything other than that, it's horrible. So if you're on a Mac, don't come close to Visual Studio Code if you're trying to build any types of applications. You have Omri Sharp, which is a good IDE, but it's very limited. It doesn't really have a lot of support. You have Rider, which is one of the best on a Mac. You have .NET CLI, which is realistically no one will use to build full-fledged applications. And I think you spell it on IDE. I have not worked with it before. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on it, so I'm not gonna mention it. But these are mainly it. So if you're on a Mac, you're pretty limited, either using the terrible Visual Studio Code or JetBrains Rider. And luckily right now, before the announcement, you had to pay for JetBrains Rider. You had a 30-day free trial. Once you had that 30-day free trial, that was it. You cannot use it anymore unless you pay for it. But now, because of this new license and because of this news, Rider is here to stay. And basically Rider is now more accessible for way more people. And Rider is a very good example about an IDE which can work on different platforms, which can work on different operating systems without actually compromising what you are getting. Visual Studio, as I said before, it is the king of IDEs. It's one of the best IDEs that you can ever use for building any types of .NET application. But it is only Windows based. What about the Linux users? What about the Mac users? Microsoft just completely forgot about them and told them use Visual Studio Code, and good luck with that. So for this reason, I just wanted to make this quick video to showcase that JetBrains Rider is now free. You can actually start using it. And while we're going through it, I just wanted to show you that it is now free for non-commercial use. If you are doing any types of commercial, the pricing is around £142, which makes sense. It's not really expensive what you're getting, to be honest. It's an amazing product. But if you're doing any types of commercial, please buy the license. It's the right thing to do because it is one of the best IDEs that ever exist for .NET on a Mac and Windows, as well on Windows, to be honest. But if you're on Windows, use Visual Studio. And if you're looking for free models, so if we take a look at Visual Studio here, if we scroll up and down, we can see that we have the Visual Studio family, which is Visual Studio Code, which is perfect for .NET development. Visual Studio Code, not so much for .NET development, maybe for JavaScript and front-end development, but not at all for .NET development. And if we take a look at the offerings, we can see here that Visual Studio comes in 3 different flavors. We have the community, we have the professional, and we have the enterprise. So if we go on community, I'm not gonna download it right now, I'm just gonna stop. A community means that you can actually have almost 95% or 90% of the full Visual Studio experience without actually paying a penny, even if you're doing development, paid work. And if we go back to Rider And we can see here the different options. We can see it's almost similar, where you have the non-commercial, which is the free one. You have the commercial, as well as you have the .NET Ultimate. And the .NET Ultimate contain a lot of different options like ReSharper and etc. But focusing on the main products here. So we can see here the 3 different options: Rider non-commercial, Rider commercial, and .NET Ultimates. It's actually fit the exact same product offering from Microsoft Community, Professional, Enterprise. The main difference is Rider works on almost any operating system. This only works on Windows. So now I'm just going to open Rider, and I'm just going to give you a quick overview on it. So within Rider, there's a lot of different quality of life features that really takes it apart from all other IDEs. So one of them is the directly integration with a database. So you can here add your database and you can connect to it, and you basically have a full database management system inside your IDE, which is amazing. The other one is the ability to have a lot of different plugins. So if you go to plugins, you'll be able to see that there is a lot of plugins available. If you go to the marketplace, there is a lot of different plugins available for you to utilize. It's being maintained. They are quality plugins. They are not really spammy plugins, and basically it offers you a lot of different support for a lot of different stuff that you need to do, which is really interesting. And there is I can make an hour-long video about JetBrains Rider, and all of the different functionality. But there's one more thing that I would like to mention here, which is the capability to customize. So what do I mean by that? So for example, right now, if I click on one of these items, it opens. I can even customize how this works. So I can click on the 3 options. I can even allow the button clicking mode. I can change the behavior. So from enable preview tab to open double click, open file project with a single click. There is a lot of customization, and it is a very well maintained, regularly updated IDE, which I highly encourage you to utilize. I'm not bashing Visual Studio. If you are on Windows, I would say always go with Visual Studio. If you're working on Windows and a Mac and you want the same experience, Rider is the best way. If you're using Mac or Linux, just please use Rider. Don't use Visual Studio Code for anything. This was just like a quick video just to showcase and provide you with this news. I'm not trying to bash Microsoft or basically Visual Studio. The Visual Studio team have done really amazing job on Windows, but they completely neglected us on a Mac, on any other operating system. I hope you use Rider and try to benefit as much from it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.